What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. So today we're doing something a little bit different. It's something that I've actually kind of wanted to do for a while. I wasn't sure if it made sense to do on this channel, but I actually asked you guys on my second channel if you guys wanted to see a review of the Fitbit Versa, which is what we're doing today. And a lot of people were actually really interested in it, so I figured why not go ahead and do it. The first thing I do want to say is, one, I am definitely not the best reviewer here on YouTube, but I thought that it made sense for me to give my thoughts and opinions, especially because, you know, this is a smartwatch, but it's more based around activity tracking and health and fitness, and that's what I love to do. So I thought that my opinion kind of maybe made sense, and a lot of the other reviews that I've seen have kind of compared it to the Apple Watch or compared it to other smartwatches. And for me, the main reason that I got this watch was to track activity, and that's what I'm going to be talking a lot about in this video. Another disclaimer is that I cannot compare this to really any other smart device or fitness tracker, because this is the first one I've had in a very, very long time. The last smartwatch I had was actually the first Apple Watch, which I personally thought was really bad at tracking activity. It did not work at all, so I really didn't use it for that. And then the last actual activity tracker that I had was a Fitbit from a very, very long time ago. I forget what it was called, but it was one of those ones that was just a band, and it had like this little tiny screen. And after a while, actually, they had to recall that device because I started getting a rash on my wrist, and a lot of other people actually had that as well. So that was the last Fitbit that I had, and it was a very, very long time ago. So I can't really do a lot of comparisons to the other Fitbits, to the Garmin's, to all the other smartwatches or activity trackers, but I can tell you what I think about this and if I can recommend it to someone out there that might be thinking about getting something to track their activity. So with the disclaimers out of the way, let's jump into it. What do I think about the Fitbit Versa? So the first thing we're going to talk about is the price. I feel like this is going to be important to a lot of people. So it costs $199. So obviously it's not the cheapest fitness tracker that you could get, but it's not the most expensive like fitness tracker smartwatch combo that you could buy. There's definitely more expensive ones, you know, the Apple Watch, especially if you're using an iPhone, that's probably what most people are going to compare this to. So it is a little bit cheaper than that. So, you know, $199 is what this is running. So at the end of the review, I'll explain if I think that it's worth that much money. So moving on to the looks. Now this is something that I think is actually pretty important. So I was looking at either getting this watch or the Fitbit Ionic, and those were the two that I was kind of deciding over which I should get. So I know a little bit about the Ionic. Again, like I said, I've never had it though, but the main thing that I really liked about this was just the way that it looked. The Ionic looks like a fitness watch. It's really bulky looking, and the only real differences that I saw were that the Ionic has the built-in GPS. So say you want to go for a run, you don't want to bring your smartphone, you can do that with the Ionic and it will still track that run. With the Versa, you have to have your phone with you. Luckily, I'm not much of a runner, so it's not that big of a deal. So I really love how this looked. I just thought it was really simple. It's nothing super crazy. It's not like you're gonna wear it on your wrist and people are like, wow, that guy's wearing a fitness tracker. It's just like, oh, he has, a lot of people probably think that it's an Apple Watch, right? So that was really nice. And then on top of that, I love how light this was. I didn't even really think to look about how much, you know, how heavy it would be, but this compared to my Apple Watch that I had, the first one, it is a lot lighter than that. It's really nice. I honestly forget that I'm wearing it, and actually it's really nice when I'm going to sleep, because I'm able to sleep with it. It doesn't bother me at all, and I'm someone that, I'm kind of fidgety when I sleep, so if it was something that, if it bothered my wrist or if it felt like heavy, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I would have to take it off, and I don't have to do that. So I really like how this looks, how sleek it looks, and then just how light it is as well. And now the battery. This is probably, I think, the best part about this watch. This thing lasts for a very, very long time. I would say 3 to 4 days is what I get on average. And I mean, I use it to track a lot of workouts. Like I'm doing a lot of times doing 2 a days, and it lasts at least 3 days, which is really nice. Cause again, comparing it, cause I can only really compare it to the Apple Watch, I had to charge that every single day, and that got really annoying, and I wasn't able to track my sleep with it and stuff like that. So it's just really nice that I don't have to stress about it. And it gives you pretty good reminders of saying, hey, the watch is getting low. I think it's like at 20% or 25%. It'll let you know that it's getting low. And you can honestly like plug it in, charge it for like 20 minutes if you just want to get through that day, and you'll be fine. I already have enough stuff to plug in, so the fact that I don't have to plug this in every single day for me is a huge plus. So now let's move on to the actual features of the watch. You know, how well does it actually track my activity, track my sleep, all of those things. So when it comes to my activity, I'm actually really happy. The thing with smartwatches and the things with, you know, a fitness watch is that I think people should kind of realize is that they're never gonna be a 100% accurate, right? Especially if you're just wearing one that's on your wrist. I'm not gonna be the person that's ever never gonna wear something around my chest to make sure I get the perfect heart rate. Like, I don't care that much, personally. So, I trust that it does its thing. It's not perfect, but I will say that it's very consistent. And I think that's really important. So, like, through my workouts, again, it might say that I'm burning more calories than I really am. Who knows, right? Who's gonna know for sure? But it's consistent in all of my workouts. So I am really happy with how consistent it is over time. But again, just always kind of remember when you have a smartwatch or a fitness watch that it's never going to be 100% accurate. So I went into buying this knowing that it wasn't going to be perfect. So I think that kind of shaped my expectations for it as well. So I will say that the heart rate monitor on it is not perfect, which again, I wasn't expecting it to be, but I do my stair climber and I get really, really sweaty, and I know that my heart is pumping. I know that I am, I'm burning a lot of calories, right? But sometimes I'll look down at the watch, and because I feel like personally, I don't know exactly, but I feel like because I sweat so much, it sometimes will lose track of my heart rate. Like, instead of saying like a number, it'll just be dashes. And that was really frustrating. It actually, for the first few days, I thought that I might have to like return the watch, or just, it wasn't working, because every time I would look down, it wasn't working. And I noticed that, but I kept fidgeting with it. Like, I kept trying to move it up my wrist, down my wrist. I kept trying to fix it. And I feel like that was a reason why it would never actually get a solid pace. Because this past week and a half, I haven't had one issue looking down and noticing that it's not tracking. So I would say if you are kind of noticing that it's not tracking, just don't mess with it too much, don't fidget with it too much, just kind of let it do its thing. And I personally haven't had an issue in over a week with it not tracking my heart rate. And then when it comes to tracking your steps, I think with any smart device, they're not perfect, and this is definitely not perfect. When I'm driving, I notice that I will get a couple more steps. Sometimes when I'm just sitting around, it'll be like, you hit your daily step goal, and I'm like, I've been sitting in my desk for an hour. I did not hit my daily step goal. So you again, like, it's all about finding that average. Like, what I like to look at is my week. Look at my week and like, okay, my week I've been around the same steps, or I've been, trending upward, and that's the way that I use it. I don't actually think in my head, this is tracking every single step that I'm taking and this is perfect, because I think it would be silly to kind of have that mentality going into it. Next up is the calories burned. Again, like I've said, I didn't have the most expectation going into this, so I know that the calories that it says I'm burning is probably a little bit off. It says that I'm burning anywhere from like 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day. I do think that I personally probably am around the 4,000 calories a day mark, just for my size, for the amount of muscle that I have, for the amount that I work out. That makes sense. I don't think that I'm hitting, 5,000 consistently burned calories every day, because I eat about 4,000 calories, a little bit over 4,000 calories probably every single day, and that's pretty much my maintenance. So I would say that it's pretty close, but again, it's not exact. But what I think is cool is that every day it's pretty close and it's really consistent. So again, it's really nice to be able to look back on the week, look back on 2 weeks, or what's really cool is it has that, it just saves it forever, right? And you're able to look back and see how active you've been, how many calories you've been. Again, it's not gonna be perfect, but you can really compare yourself to how you were doing maybe last week or the week before. And then moving on to probably my favorite feature of the watch is that it tracks your sleep. This is something that I was really, really excited about doing, because I know that I struggle with getting good sleep, getting enough sleep, but I never really noticed how much sleep I wasn't getting or how I felt on different days. So it's actually really interesting. Like, I know that I feel better when I get at least 7 hours of sleep. And I will notice it the next day. If I got 7 hours of sleep the day before, I feel a lot better. And I'll look back on the app, and what's really cool is that it tracks like the different stages of your sleep too. So it doesn't just track how much you slept, it tracks, were you in light sleep, were you in REM sleep, were you in deep sleep, and then it kind of explains to you what those different levels of sleep do for you, recovery wise and all that. It's really, really interesting, and it really, honestly, this is probably the thing that's helped me the most. It's made me go to sleep earlier. As silly as that sounds, it really has made me be like, okay, I need to go to sleep at 11 o'clock or whatever it might be, right? Like, I need to get enough sleep, because I know that I will be able to check it and I'll know that, like, man, it only says 5 hours and I feel like garbage, and it's only my fault. I can only blame myself. So the sleep tracking on this is really, really awesome for me. It was the main reason, honestly, that I bought the watch. And then when it comes to the other like smart watch features, I'm gonna be completely honest, I pretty much turned it off. Like, I don't get notifications to my watch. I personally I don't really like that very much. I don't use it as really a smart watch. I use it more as just a fitness fitness tracker. So like that's the reason that I bought the watch. That's why I wanted to get it. And still, with that being said, this $199 that I spent on it, I still think was worth it. And I still am happy with my purchase, you know, even though I'm not using it as a smartwatch, I guess you could say. All of the information that I'm getting, I love information, I love to use data, is helpful, and it's been really cool to just kind of nerd out over it. So I am actually really happy with this purchase. So with that being said, is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it important to go into buying a smartwatch with the right expectations? I think 100% that's true. I think that you should just go in knowing that it's not gonna be perfect, but you will be able to get good averages. And then another thing that's really important that I don't think a lot of people talk about when it comes to a smartwatch, like, don't focus on it too much, because a lot of people they're like, I need to get my steps and I need to do this, like my watch is like, and then they become like a slave to their smartwatch. I know that sounds silly, but I've seen it happen to a lot of people. So try not to let that happen, but there is a lot of good that you can get out of something like this. So a general overview, so some of the pros with the watch are, first off, is the battery life is really good. It's gonna last you 3 to 4 days, no problem. It's super intuitive, very easy to use when you first get it out of the box. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to use this. 3 is that it's really lightweight. You don't feel it that much on your wrist. It doesn't get in the way too much, especially when you're doing workouts. I honestly have not had an issue with it getting in the way, so that's really nice. And the 4th thing is that it's relatively consistent. So again, like I said, it's not perfect. It's not gonna get your exact calories burned. It's not gonna get your exact steps, but it is consistent over the days, and you can get a good gauge of what you are doing. So some of the cons, if you are a runner and that's your main source of exercise and you don't want to bring your phone along with you, this watch honestly probably isn't going to be the best choice for you, because you need to have your phone on you if you want to track those runs with GPS. So you have to be connected to your phone to use the GPS. So that's going to be a huge con for a lot of people. So the second con is that it's not going to be perfect with tracking your steps and your calories. Again, it's really consistent, but it's definitely not perfect. And number 3 is the price. Like, I really feel like they could have sold this for maybe $150, especially when you get it out of the box. You'll kind of grab it, and especially if you had maybe like an Apple Watch, it feels a little bit cheaper, because the Apple Watches, they are a little bit heavier, which does get annoying a little bit, but this is lighter. It does feel a little bit cheaper, so I really wish they would have maybe bumped the price down a little bit. But again, it's not super expensive, but that $199 price tag is going to throw some people off. But all in all, if you are looking for a fitness tracker and smartwatch combo, I think this is going to be a good choice, if you're in the market. I'm really happy with it. I have no real complaints, nothing that makes me want to take it back or anything like that. All the data that I've been getting from it has been helpful, and I really enjoy using it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this review. Again, I know I'm not the best reviewer on YouTube. There are a ton of people that are a lot better than me, but I thought it would be fun to kind of share my experience and my opinion on this product. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think. If you guys have a smartwatch, if you guys think there's something better, let me know down in the comment section down below. I had a lot of fun making this video and reviewing this product, so if you guys want to see more stuff like this, let me know down in the comment section what you guys want me to review. I would really enjoy doing that. But again, thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, look how buff I am.
Obey the warning signs, and when there are flashing lights or wigwags, don't attempt to cross until they come to a complete stop.